Where are you here?
Oh, that's in Bhutan. Back the day that the king abdicated his throne.
Is the holy men there?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, this was the national day, and we just happened to stumble into the big festivities there.
And I can guess that one.
Yeah.
Egypt.
Yep.
And did you deal with shaman or anything, the equivalent in Egypt?
Not particularly, but we've, that has its own mythology. Yeah, that's Rwanda, and that guy a few feet behind me there is a male silverback gorilla in the wild.
And the African shaman or witch doctors, I mean, on one hand, you're dealing with physicists and generals, and then the next week you're talking to witch doctors in the deepest Africa.
Yeah. Well, I have found, some of these shamans to be most amazing people. I was taken, remember the turn of the millennia when Kofi Annan has said that half the world has neither made nor received a phone call. And yet we were dealing with shamans who were in that group, who their knowledge of herbology and things are just absolutely amazing and have zip as far as, formal education by the Western standards.
And is this the Andes?
Yeah, that's in Nepal.
Oh, Nepal, okay.
Yeah, no, that's the Himalayas.
Himalayas. Afghanistan?
That's Afghanistan, yeah.
What's the story on this whale thing here? You were trying to communicate, you have communicated with other species or attempted to.
Yeah, this was in Tonga, which is one of the few places where you can actually get in the water. What you don't realize is, while I'm in front, there's a fair distance behind me because the whale itself is 35 to 40 feet long, probably 35 tons or something like that. But we had experiences where we got, within inches, and they knew exactly where we were. Sometimes we were swimming above them. This was calving season, and the calves have to breathe more frequently, so they would come up. But we would hover above them, and they would come up and look, and then just move exactly off to the side, breathe, and dive.
You relate in the book that there are indications that we can communicate telepathically with a couple of these species.
We did that particularly with dolphins, and we did experiments in the Bahamas, and where we were transmitting, again, telepathically transmitting instructions, and these are, again, wild dolphins who were then obviously responding to, the preconceived instructions.
I mean, the instruction was, hey, come back here, and they did.
Yeah, this was a major, this wasn't a, little turn or whatnot. This particularly was turn completely around and come back and then go off in another direction, which they did.
Is there, to your knowledge, a formal study of that in any of the former places where you've worked?
Not so much for the ESP aspect or telepathic aspects, but certainly Navy has done work with dolphins, and their sonar system is just exquisite. Can distinguish between items at very, very small.
You want to show us some masks and other artifacts?
Okay.
Are all these from the same general area? Or they're all from different...
These come from
all over.
All over the world. I just happen to collect masks. And
do you remember where each one is from?
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I really probably need to annotate that, because in general, many of them I can.
What's this one?
Well, that's obviously a Buddha. He came originally from Thailand. The white scarf is from His Holiness. He was here in the U.S. I met him in Santa Fe. And,
really?
Yeah. Well, along with lots of other people. You went through the line and they, put that on.
Are the locals ever suspicious? What are you up to? Why are you here? What's going on?
Only on rare occasions. A few of them have known who I was, but generally no.
And does it hurt your ability to walk in the circles that you used to work for or still do, consult to, when they know you're exploring these kinds of avenues?
It's mixed. I mean, there are many of them who say, rah, 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 it's really great, like to hear about that. And you've got the others that go, you know, it's too weird. I mean, you know about the Scientific American expose. It happens, you know. So it's like everything else. You have pros and cons. And, you know, have supporters and those who don't want to hear it. I mean, understand, part of what we're discussing here is frightening to people. Because if these things are real, then their belief systems are in jeopardy.
Well, it changes everything. It's,
right.
Yeah. Their understanding of reality has changed.
Yeah. And some of this, by the way, I take on religion. What we've talked about in near-death experiences, like ayahuasca, shamans, post-mortem communication, things of that nature. In my view, one of the reasons that religion seems to be so adamantly opposed is they do not want people having direct experience of the divine being or spiritual worlds or things like that. They want to be the arbiter because this is power.
They want to be the middleman, yeah.
Sure, because it's a control mechanism.